Hello and welcome to Book of the Mouse Club, episode 112, Thursday, March 27th, 2025.
Morning, monsieur.
Where are you off to?
The bookshop. I just finished the most wonderful story about a beanstalk and an ogre and...
That's nice. Marie! The baguettes! Hurry up!
I'm sorry, but how can one possibly pay attention to a book with no pictures in it?
My dear child, there are a great many good books in this world without pictures.
I almost bounced clear out of the book. Some bouncing, huh?
Come home or make myself known.
Jane Thaddeus Turtle, Esquire. Have you never met him? You will find his story in this delightful little book, The Wind and the Willows.
I've come to return the book I borrowed.
Finished already?
Oh, I couldn't put it down. Have you got anything new?
Welcome back. I'm your host, Courtney, and I'm joined as always by the Lumiere to my Cogsworth, my lovely co-host, Emily.
Bonjour, 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 bonjour. I'm really excited about this episode. I can't believe it's taken us this long to get to this fairy tale.
All those years of French really paid off for you, Emily, right there.
Nice job. Merci.
But yes, this is a long-awaited episode. I don't know if we were hesitant to do it because we love the Disney material so much. You will find out. Just here you go. Belle is both my favorite princess as well as Emily. So we've done. Yeah, the podcast about books and princess who loves books. We have done Fairytale Favorites off and on throughout our seasons here. We kicked things off with Snow White, and I think I've covered most of the princess stories at this point. Maybe there's one or two we haven't touched. We're finally talking about Beauty and the Beast. So let's head right in. Emily, can you give us a little background about the fairy tale?
Yes, so crediting my sources, I took a lot of information from the Smithsonian Magazine, the Pook Press, that's P-O-O-K. NPR had a story as well, and then a couple different Wikipedia pages getting some additional background info from about the authors, as well as some plot synopsises of different versions of the story. I found a lot of these articles all came out when the live action Beauty and the Beast came out. There was a resurgence of wanting to look into the background of the story. Every article I clicked on had Emma Watson's photo of her in the yellow dress. So a lot of this was a resurgence when the live action came out. So a little bit of background. Beauty and the Beast is truly a tale as old as time, with deep roots in folklore, and similar tales found in Africa, Asia, Europe, and India, highlighting the connection between humans and nature. Stories like The Snake with Five Heads from southern Africa, East of the Sun, West of the Moon from Norway, and The Fairy Serpent from China all feature a young woman marrying an animal groom who later transforms into a handsome prince. Some even argue that there is a connection to the ancient Roman myth of Cupid and Psyche. So the point is, like all folklore, fairy tales are derived from a long ancestry and have very universal themes. So I do think Tale as Old as Time is very appropriate for that song lyric in Beauty and the Beast. The original Beauty and the Beast story was written by Gabrielle Suzanne de Villeneuve and published in 1740 as part of the book La Jeune Américaine et ses Contes Marins, or The Young American and Tales of the Sea. Unlike later versions, it was a lengthy tale that provided detailed backstories for both Belle and the Beast. The Beast was a prince whose mother left him in the care of an evil fairy while waging war. And when he rejected the fairy's advances as an adult, she cursed him. Belle was actually the daughter of a king and a good fairy, hidden as a merchant's child to protect her from a wicked fairy who wanted to marry her father. So there's a lot of I don't know, good witch, bad witch. There's a lot of stuff happening in that original tale. However, Jeanne-Marie LePrince de Beaumont from 1756, her version of Beauty and the Beast, titled La Belle et la Bête, is most well-known version of the story and the one that inspired the Walt Disney animated feature and the version that we read to compare to the film today. Madame Beaumont simplified Villeneuve's original version, reducing characters and refining it to a classic fairy tale format, and was marketed in magazines as a tale for the entertainment of juvenile readers. Beaumont's changes often reflect the social and political shifts occurring in France at the time. So she is living during the French Revolution that'll come shortly after the American Revolution. And her version is published just before that, about 20 years. Her abridged version was part of the Magasin des Enfants, which was translated into English and appeared in London as Beauty and the Beast as part of the Young Mrs. magazine in 1757. Beaumont was born in 1711 in Rouen, France, was an educator and a prolific writer. After losing her mother at 11, she was mentored by wealthy women and educated at a convent school where she later taught. Instead of becoming a nun, she left for Metz and eventually worked as a singing teacher at the Duc de Lorraine's court. She later moved to London as a governess, writing extensively, including moralistic works and instructional handbooks for young readers. Beaumont recognized her advantage of being an educated woman in society and the independence that that gave her, and those themes do make it into the book and into some of her heroines, like Beauty. Her most famous work was the 1757 abridged version of Beauty and the Beast, adapted from Vu's original. She wrote, however, about 70 volumes, including novels and educational texts, and contributed to publications like London's The Spectator, which was very popular. Beaumont became known for adapting folklore into fairy tales like the Brothers Grimm. And while Beauty and the Beast is her most famous fairy tale, I did find she has 15 other specific fairy tales in her publications list on Wikipedia. So there's plenty of others that you can explore as well. She returned to France in 1763, settling in Avignon before her death in 1780. Her writings reflected moral and educational themes, and she maintained connections with intellectuals like Voltaire. So running in the same circles as a lot of philosophers. Unlike other fairy tales like those we've read by Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm, Beauty and the Beast is a fairy tale written and adapted predominantly by female writers. And we see a common theme of searching and longing in these retellings, and there are also themes of power and identity that makes Beauty and the Beast such an alluring and enduring fairy tale.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you had all of the French words in that with your
I mean, my pronunciation, it's been a few years. My
better than
pronunciation
I
from
could
my high
do.
school French is, very still high school level.
Who
So
took
don't judge me
Spanish?
too harshly, listeners. I thank you. Merci.
I think we've only gotten like one nasty email about your pronunciations in 8 years. So shout out to that person. Anyway,
Gross.
it's fine. You do a wonderful job, far better than I could do. I have the Disney A to Z, which hopefully should be easier
Way
to
less French.
pronounce here. Fingers crossed. We'll see. It's quite a lengthy entry, but here we go. Quote, Beauty and the Beast film. The beautiful Belle ignores her suitor, the vain Gaston, as she cares for her father, the eccentric Maurice. When Maurice stumbles upon a foreboding castle while lost in the woods, the servants enchanted into household objects try to make him welcome, but he is thrown into the dungeon by the Beast. Belle comes to rescue her father and agrees to remain in the castle as his substitute. In order to break the spell, Belle must learn to love another and be loved in return. Belle seems a likely candidate, but it takes Beast a while to regain his temper. Belle desperately misses her father, so Beast sadly allows her to leave. Gaston, realizing Beast's arrival for Belle's affection, leads the townfolk to storm the castle. Belle rushes back in time to profess her love for Beast, and the spell is broken. Initial release in New York on November 13th, 1991. General release on November 22nd, 1991. Directed by Gary Truesdale and Kirk Wise, 84 minutes. Voices include Paige O'Hara Belle, Robbie Benson Beast, Richard White Gaston, Jerry Orbach Lumiere, David Ogden Steers, Cogsworth, Angela Lansbury Mrs. Potts, Joanne Worley Wardrobe. Academy Award nominee in 6 categories, including the first time for an animated feature, that of Best Picture. It won for Best Song, Beauty and the Beast by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, and Best Original Score. Angela Lansbury sang the title song in the story, and Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson sang another rendition over the film's end credits. Since lyricist Howard Ashman had died earlier in the year, the film was dedicated to him. Quote, to our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul, we will be forever grateful, end quote. Production of the film took 3.5 years and required the talents of nearly 600 animators, artists, and technicians. Portions of the film were animated at Disney's satellite facility at Disney MGM Studios in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Art directors working on the film traveled to the Loire Valley in France for inspiration and studied the great French Romantic painters. Ooh, they snuck in here, such as Fragonard and Boucher. It was Ashman who came up with the idea of turning the enchanted objects into living creatures with unique personalities. Glenn Keane, the supervising animator on Beast, created his own hybrid beast by combining the mane of a lion, the beard and head structure of a buffalo, the tusk and nose bridge of a wild boar, the heavily muscled brow of a gorilla, the legs and tail of a wolf, and the big and bulky body of a bear. Computer-generated imagery was used in several parts of the film, most notably in the Be Our Guest sequence and the creation of a striking three-dimensional ballroom background, allowing dramatic camera music moves on the animated characters as they danced. It became the most successful animated feature in motion picture history up to that time, with domestic box office revenues in excess of 140 million. Released on video in 1992, the film was reissued in IMAX and other giant screen theaters on January 1st, 2002, featuring the song Human Again in a never-before-seen animated sequence. New running time of 90 minutes. A 3D version was released on January 13th, 2012 on a program with the short Tangled Ever After. End quote. So there we have it. The movie and the history. Let's start comparing. Back to what we shared earlier, for longtime listeners, it is probably no surprise that Belle is our longtime favorite princess. But for new listeners, let's share why we love Belle so much.
I think it's like you said earlier, she's the princess who loves to read, and we were kids who loved to read. So just identified with her. And I think this is a conversation we may have had either on the podcast, but definitely in person. It was kind of like a Molly American Girl experience where I'm like, but she also has brown hair, just like me. So in a way, she looked like me. She had books like me. So I enjoyed that. And then just being a Disney Renaissance kid, it was one that was playing so frequently. So it's one that I
Definitely
readily
the brown
watched.
hair. My question for myself, I guess, is do I love Belle because I love to read, or do I love to read because I love Belle? Because I was definitely watching this as a toddler
This is
who could
true.
not read, but I did love stories. Like my mom will tell
Hmm.
you if I was a toddler and like, people like threaten like, oh, you're not gonna get a snack after dinner or something. If I was acting up, my mom says she'd be like, you're not gonna get a bedtime story, and I would snap in line and behave. So I definitely liked stories, even if I
Hmm.
couldn't physically read. I just don't know how intrinsically those two are linked. I think certainly growing into adulthood, those
It's a
loves
chicken and
grow,
the egg question.
yes, in
Which came
tandem.
first?
But I do think we had an in-depth discussion about her brown hair in another Beauty and the Beast adjacent book that I will share as a recommended resource later. But yeah, as a little refresher, her journey and her passion aligns with our own.
So overall, I also wanted us to we've been looking forward to any reasons to talk about Beauty and the Beast. So we have a lot of memories of the film, as well as other Beauty and the Beast, maybe adjacent memories. So any that you particularly want to share?
Sure. I did not get to see the film in theaters as it was released just a few months before I was born, but it was my most watched VHS at home. It probably
Hmm.
went triple platinum in my VCR. Just would put it on all the time. I would make my dad like act out the end with me. Like I'd make
Oh,
him die on the couch and then like come back to life. So it is something very special to my dad and I when I had my wedding. Our father-daughter dance was to an instrumental version of Beauty and the Beast. And he took me to my first ever like professional theater production, which was the first national tour of the Broadway show. I got to see that in 1998. It came back to Baltimore, I believe, in 2012. So I was still living in Baltimore at the time, and we got to see it again. Then I have seen many local community theater productions, often with my dad. So it's special for us. It's special for our whole family. I have watched it many times. It is one of my go-to bedtime movies
yeah.
for comfort. So I don't have like a specific memory, just a collection of living my life loving this film. What about you?
I agree. I don't know how much I know I reached for the VHS a lot. But my sister was a big Ariel fan, so it was a lot of back
Mm.
and forth between Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, which makes sense. They're also like right next to each other in the Disney Renaissance. But I did see Beauty and the Beast was my first Broadway show. I saw that. I think I was in fifth grade. If not fifth, I was in sixth grade. I was very lucky that living where I was in New Jersey, bus trips are such a normal thing to do up to New York from the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. And I was very fortunate that my middle school did a bus trip with the drama department every year to go see a show. So I saw several Broadway shows, both with my sister when she was in middle school, because any extra seats, my mom always volunteered to chaperone. And then she would ask, were there any like tickets unsold or were there spots left on the bus? And so then I got pulled out of school to go. So I went to a lot of Broadway performances in my middle school year, my elementary and middle school years because of that. And Beauty and the Beast was the first Broadway show I ever saw. And then I did also see it on tour when it came through Philadelphia. So that is also my first like big exposure to professional theater was through Beauty and the Beast. I did go see it in theaters in 3D in 2012. I remember that being really fun, and I liked how Disney did the 3D. It was more about like having depth than having things like pop out at you, and I
Right,
remember
because they
really
can't
enjoying that.
reanimate it. Yeah, they did. I
Yeah.
feel like they did Lion
Lion
King
King.
for sure, and maybe something else. That was definitely fun as someone who like grew up
Yeah.
with those movies, but was maybe too young to see certain films in the cinema. Yeah, to have that
But I distinctly remember leaving the theater like being surprised with like the depth of the
I
3D.
remember asking for the kids' version of the 3D glasses because they were more themed to the movie, like Beauty and the Beast. Like the rim of the glasses were
I don't
blue,
remember
and
those at all.
it's because you didn't ask for the kid ones, Emily. I'm
Apparently
telling you,
not.
you
I didn't
had to
know.
request them.
How did we not go together? We were in college at that
We would
point.
have, yeah, we would have known each other in 2012. Well, it said it was January 2012, and I feel like
Oh,
we
we were
became
probably on
friends
winter
in
break.
February
Oh, it was
2012.
before. That
Yeah.
is before us,
We
before
would
our
have had
time.
it been like a year later or something, I am
Would
sure.
have. Also in January, we would have been home on winter break, probably.
100%. God bless that 5 week long winter break we used to have. I wish I still had a life with 5 week long winter breaks.
But those are some of my earliest memories is definitely seeing the show on Broadway and in theaters. And then I did really enjoy going to see it again in theaters when it came out in 2012. That is a really special. I like when they re-release.
I saw it with my dad at our home cinema, so we were
Oh,
definitely home for winter break. Now that
that's
I
so
think about it,
fun.
it checks out.
So in the film, do you have a favorite scene or a favorite song?
Oh my gosh, it's so tough. I mean, I feel like the title song, Beauty and the Beast, is so iconic. I love Angela Lansbury just in general. This is so hard because like I love Be Our Guest too. That's such like an upbeat, show-stopping number. It's it's tough. What about
See, what's
you?
funny, Beauty and the Beast, or sorry, Be Our Guest is probably my least favorite song. Even though I love the
Really?
show-stopping number, I love it when I get to watch it. But if it's
Okay.
just like on my Disney playlist, it's like
You're
one
like,
I
I'm
skip.
not listening to that.
I
But
only
the
like it for the
sing-along
show-stopping number for some
song was
reason.
so iconic. It was on
I
our
know, and I know
sing-along
it so well
VHS.
because of that. My favorite is definitely the title. I love the exposition. It's so clever. I love the animation just because there's so much world in there seeing the town. And I totally forgot to say, my middle school play when I was in seventh grade was Beauty and the Beast. And I was in the ensemble, so I was in like every possible number because there's townspeople everywhere. Um, I was also an inanimate object. I was a painting over a fireplace, and my director
Ooh.
told me because I was the painting over the fireplace, like I stood on a chair and like I had a picture frame like draped over me. I was in every
Like some
single
Harry
scene.
Potter stuff.
I was
Like,
in more scenes than Belle or Beast because I, as a
good for
townsperson
you.
and as that inanimate object over the fireplace, which was
She's just
in every
chilling.
castle scene, I was in every single scene of the show.
I love
So
that
I
for
actually had the
you.
most stage time, and I had one line. I was the opening bonjour
There you
when the
go. Just like
curtains
you were in this
opened,
episode.
and she
We're
gave me
throwing
no
it back.
microphone, so I had to like shout it.
Push from the
Um,
diaphragm.
exactly. So I love that opening number just because how much fun I had to as a middle school cast. Like you're 12 years old and getting to
That's
be
a
part of your.
good choice
It was
for
a
middle
lot of
school.
fun.
My middle school did anything goes, and I don't think that that was an appropriate choice for a middle school.
Did you have enough tap dancers to get through that?
Actually, we did. I was
No.
not in
Okay.
it, but like there was a solid tap community in Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know.
That's
They did a
great.
good
We
job, but just thinking back on the subject matter, Beauty and the Beast was far more appropriate than anything goes.
Yeah, we did Annie, Beauty and the Beast, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory were or Willy Wonka specifically, were the three that I was in middle school. I did not do theater in high school because I did more dance-oriented stuff. But that
Yeah,
was
I'm the
super fun.
opposite. I didn't do it in middle school, but I did in high
Mm.
school.
But because I love the opening number, and it's my favorite to listen to, maybe because it's also like the longest song. I like the Broadway version. I liked the Emma Watson version as well. Like I just have always liked that one.
There's a great meme though about that opening number where Belle's like, Papa, do you think I'm odd? And he's like, my daughter, odd? Why would you say a thing like that? And then she goes, oh, because the town just sang a whole song about it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I do think I saw them rehearsing that earlier. Just if you think about it. You gotta
That's
suspend
very
your
meta.
disbelief, yes, but I got a chuckle out of that one. Any favorite characters besides Belle? I mean, like she's our favorite Disney
Oh,
character in general.
I think from the film, I really like Cogsworth. I think he's
He's
got
such a
some of the
cutie.
best lines.
If it's not Baroque, don't
Don't
fix
fix
it.
it. Or
Flowers,
like flowers,
chocolates.
chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep. Um, I
I'd
think he's
agree.
got some really good lines that he's a character I think as I've gotten older and watched the film more, I understand him better and you
Yes, I would
get those jokes.
agree.
So he's
I
there
feel
for the
like
adults.
I didn't really like him much as a kid, but have definitely he's grown on me
And when he
in
comes
my
out as
adulthood.
Napoleon, like defending
Yes.
his castle, the history person in me is like, now once you get all those references, he's definitely a sophisticated character that if you once you know all the references, you know it. So I really enjoy him. And then Chip's just cute, which I know you have a rant about Chip.
I'll do it now if you
Go
want.
for it.
I'll go
Give us
right
our rant
into
about
it.
Chip.
I don't know if it's a rant or a hot take, but really, this is just what keeps me up at night and has for years. Like so much so that I made a Facebook post about it and it comes up in my memories annually. And I'm like, ah, yes, I am still wondering about that. I need to know what is going on with the other cups in the cupboard because Mrs. Potts says, off to the cupboard now with your Chip, with your brothers and sisters. And there's like at least eight other child cups in that cupboard. Some of them have eyelashes. So there are female presenting cups and male presenting cups. Like the lore is there and she calls him or calls them his brothers and sisters. I'm like, okay, like what happened? Who are these other kids? How many kids does Mrs. Potts have? And then like you'd think like, okay, maybe that was just a throwaway line. But they show up again in that finale battle scene. Like they're pouring hot tea on
Yeah, that's
the
right.
villagers. They show up
And
twice.
they dance and be our guests. The cups are doing their soft shoeing while she's bubbling and brewing.
Yeah, okay, I could excuse that as like just some other cups, but it's really the childlike looking cups, especially the ones with the eyelashes. And I just
Yeah,
need
because
to
they do
know.
have like distinguished faces when they're pouring the
Yes.
tea.
Yeah, yeah. Like the soft shoe, whatever. Like there's forks. They don't have faces. They don't have spoons. It's fine. But there's a close up. So much so, I can't get over the eyelashes. And I'm like, where are they at the end? Are they really her children? Like Chip's got the spotlight. He's riding in on the footstool dog. He's like giving Maurice a hug and being spun around. Justice for the other little cups. I just want to make sure they're okay. It really bothers
Yeah,
me.
what kind of child labor do we have at this castle?
Who survived?
Um,
Like, what's going on? I just, they're all very
I will say
similar
though,
in appearance and age. It's like Octomom, like she's octuplet.
but Chip and Mrs. Potts are just such good characters, and they show up again in Tarzan in a cameo.
Oh yeah, that's
And
a
I
good
know
one.
on my college program, by you can see it because you can see my camera. Chip the mug that you can get
Oh,
from
I
the
have
Disney
that
store.
too.
That was one of the first things I bought was I
That
wanted
was a
Chip
hot
as a coffee
item.
mug.
Yeah, yeah. It's really well done.
It is super well done. Maybe he's a little bit larger than a normal teacup would be, or compared to Belle when you see him sitting in her palm, like
Yeah,
he's a little
sometimes
bit
the
larger,
scale gets weird. It's fine.
but it's useful. But he sits on my bookshelf. I don't actually drink out of Chip. He
No,
sits on my
no.
bookshelf next to all my Disney books where
Well, there you go.
like Belle would approve.
Very fitting. Well, we can start incorporating the actual text that we read, though rather short, about
Yes.
14, 15 or so pages. So not a lot that we're working with here, but it's
But on
often the
track with
case.
other fairy tales.
Yeah, that's what
Most
I
of
was
our
gonna
fairy tales that
say.
we've read are anywhere between 6 to 12
6.
pages.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Did you have a favorite part of the story? It
Okay,
kind of just moved
it moves
fast.
really fast. I think some of the differences I found intriguing. I don't know if I would say it's a favorite, but I found them
That's
interesting.
like you were engrossed in reading it. You're like, this is not like, oh, this scene was so moving
So
to me.
maybe I'm moving ahead a little bit to characters and plot here, but so she has sisters, which in both versions, the original longer book and then the Beaumont adaptation, she both times they're sisters. So Belle is not an only child like we see her in the film, but these sisters, I swear I read the first 2 pages twice because I got Cinderella vibes. Like they're not stepsisters, but they are definitely mean
No, I
sisters.
thought that
The
too.
father is a merchant who lost his wealth, which I'm like, is this not the live action Lily James version of Cinderella? And when he goes to collect, his ship comes in, which I'm pretty sure is the beginning of how the father dies in the live action Cinderella. His ship is coming back. They think they're going to be restored to their former wealth because the lost ship has returned. And when he leaves to go get it, he asks the daughters, "What do you want?" And she asks for a rose. And I think in the Lily Jean's version, she says, "The first branch that brushes your shoulder on your return home." And I'm like, it's the same thing. It's so similar.
Kenneth
So I don't
Branagh, what
know
are
who
you
borrowed from what.
doing? Sounds like Kenneth Branagh did in the Lily
I have no
James,
idea who
but
borrowed from what, but I found that so intriguing that there's some different motivations that get the story
yes.
started. Um, that eventually there's a lot of similar plot points, like the big points are all the same. Um, but I found that really intriguing. Like I read that twice, that the family dynamic I found was interesting.
Yeah, just the way that they treated her too, because it described that Belle was, once they became impoverished, doing a lot of the housework and the chores, and they made fun of her. And I'm like, this
It's very
is
Cinderella vibes.
Cinderella.
But I think that's also that fairy tale universalness that in being in having industry, being productive, not complaining about your lot in life. That virtuousness is very universal in a lot of these fairy tales. So maybe it's borrowed, or maybe it's just a very common theme that we see over and over.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like Belle, I mean, obviously it's a near 90-minute movie versus a 14-page book, but like we definitely get a lot more dimensions and motivations from Belle within the film rather than the book.
But it does specifically say twice. I counted it twice that she likes to read and that she was excited to find the library. So
Yes, I'm glad the library's
that
still
is
there.
canon. That is original lore.
Important.
So I found that very exciting. That I was like, yes, this is not something we made up later. Definitely, definitely a Belle trait through and through.
We don't really get much about like the beast's background. I think it's kind of like at the end, they're like, oh, and by the way, he was
It's so
cursed. Like
odd.
they just throw it in there. Was I like that the movie opens with that beautiful stained glass window prologue that's just kind of like, this is what happened. This is why we're here.
Yeah, so in the story at the end when he transforms into a prince and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" And he says like, "I was cursed and I wasn't allowed to talk about the curse." You're like, "Okay, that makes sense." But because we're omniscient and it's only told through one perspective,
Yeah.
you don't get any of that. There were quite a few points where I was like, "Wow, how long was she gone?" He says, "Please don't leave me for more than a week." But we don't actually know how long she was gone.
No. He's
Um,
also nicer. Like I feel like
yeah, he was
he's
very
not
generous.
grumpy. Like he's demanding when he tells the dad like I need to go home and bring me back one of your daughters. And I was like, okay, I'll do it because I'm a good daughter. But like he didn't have like the temper that we see in
Right. And he
the
was
film.
totally content to give the father food, a place to stay. He even let him when he said, "You have to send me a daughter, but you can take all the treasures you want, one chest's worth from my castle to take home with you,
Yeah.
like in exchange for the daughter." So I don't know why he's so generous. I mean, the fairy brings it up at the end that, she says to Belle, you will be with an equally kind-hearted and virtuous person. Now, I don't know if, hostage exchange here is virtuous in any way. He's still holding the father and uh, in return, then Belle or Beauty captive for stealing a rose. Little off the handle, a little bit of like, just because I took a flower from your garden, he's mad. Like, I gave you all of this and you steal from me. I'm like, it's a flower.
I'm just picturing the movie when he's like, then go ahead and starve. Like, yeah,
Starve.
yeah, you're not
Yeah,
getting that.
the Beast we don't get a lot of motivations from at all in the book. And I think that's where maybe cutting down the story, Beaumont's cutting down of the story lacks, even though it became the more popular version. If I remember right, I think my mom did give me a copy of Beauty and the Beast in French, like the original. And I remember it. This is when we were looking for the version. I was like, I remember this story being so much longer because I had a book
A
version. It was
French,
in French
yeah.
though, and I was not reading it completely in French. I only got through like 3 pages and had to look up a lot of words. Um, but her story has a lot more of that backstory. Like there's all the evil fairies and why he was cursed. But it has nothing to do with himself. It had to do with his parents, which I read at the top of the episode that like he's cursed because of a war between his parents and the evil fairy. It's kind of Sleeping Beauty-esque in a way. Maleficent versus royalty. Um, but yeah, in Beaumont's story, he was just like a wicked fairy came along and cursed me. And you're like, okay. So I think giving us an actual plot and more characters, like having the foil of the Beast and Gaston in the Disney film, I think really drives actually more of the morals home better than
Right,
the
because it's
story
about the
did.
idea of beauty that's found within. So like Gaston is meant to be very attractive, handsome man, but wicked on the inside, whereas the beast is ugly on the outside, but kind-hearted on the inside once Belle breaks down his tough exterior.
Yeah, what did you think about the father slash more and like compared to Maurice?
I mean, I'm such a fan of the movie. I love like the zany, kooky inventor Maurice rather than just this like merchant father who's just like, yeah, I'm gonna give up my daughters because the beast said I had to. Here you go.
Right. I was like, oh, that was very, like, he was just so willing to give up one of his children. Now, I don't know if his motivation is because he has 6 children
Fine.
that who's going to provide for the whole family. I don't know if there's anything truly virtuous in that either, but he just seemed very content. It's still Belle who agrees. Like, she gives of her own free will. Like, that's the same. She trades places with her father. She wholeheartedly, willingly goes and knows what she's getting herself into. So that
Right.
independence and that self motivation is still there. But like he just seems so in the book or in the
I thought
story.
it was weird that the beast, as you said, like sends him home with a trunk load of
And you've got three
treasure.
months to get
You
your
can have
life in
three
order.
months. Just bring someone back in that time versus Belle coming to rescue her father and then selflessly offering to be in his place versus being told like, all right, one of you six has to go back to this castle. It's just
Yeah.
weird. Lots of characters though not in the story besides Gaston. I mean, you have no mention of these town people, Marie, the baguettes, the objects within the castle.
I think that was clever. You read that it was Howard Ashman's idea to add all of these extra people in the castle. They were cursed too. And I think that adds an urgency to this breaking of the curse. It's not just the beast's life that's on the line.
Mhm.
Everyone else is also going to be doomed to this fate as well. So I think that also is really endearing, and maybe we can also then understand the Beast's frustrations more because he feels so responsible for everyone around him. He does not know how to handle his emotions. Mrs. Potts is
And
trying her
they
best.
help keep him in check in that way. You must control your temper.
Yeah, and the bringing together the meet cutes of getting Belle and Beast to, get to know each other and hang out. Um, But Gaston, I think, is the biggest addition that
Yeah,
makes a difference. Having, again, that
the
conflict of
foil.
them going after the beast, the mob song, which is amazing. Um, but also that Belle has that longing. Like we always see in the story is She's kind of Cinderella-ish. Maybe I don't want to clean anymore. I'm tired of my sisters who complain so much. I just want my father to be here and be happy. We see a lot more longing, I think, in the Disney film, with her not belonging in town with the other people. Let's get to the morals. So Smithsonian Magazine, I grabbed a quote from them, said, quote, "In some ways, the moral lessons of the story of Beauty and the Beast are the same as those found in many other folk tales. Virtue and hard work are rewarded. Prodigal pride is punished. Marriage lasts happily ever after." But there's some other lessons, several of which become more particularly derived from Beauty and the Beast and more symbolic of Beauty and the Beast. Like beauty is not skin deep, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, love is stronger than death, believing is seeing, etc. Did you see these mostly in, did you see any of these in the book or in the
I
film
mean, the book
story?
is so short. I feel like I'm coming to it with the lens of
Yeah.
having seen the movie. Maybe it's a little more evident in the longer pieces, but I feel like the beauty is not skin deep is there, but not as explicitly as in the Disney film. Like it seemed
Yeah.
very abrupt that she was just like, and you'll be my husband, and then surprise, he's a prince. Like I needed a little more like slow burn to to get me there.
Yeah, I agree. The virtue is in there. She has a dream that the good fairy comes to her to reassure her that her sacrifice will be rewarded, that she's doing the right thing. We have the sisters who are turned to stone at
Yeah.
the end. They become statues.
Better than getting their eyes pecked out by birds like
That's true.
Cinderella.
So maybe,
So
Belle sisters had a better outcome. I mean, they're not alive anymore, but they're not in pain.
yeah.
Um, so we still have that like cruelty is punished, virtue is rewarded. It's very marriage driven. Whereas the Disney film, it's he has to learn to love someone and someone has to love him in return. Whereas this is all about he just needed to get someone to agree to marry him
Without asking. Like she had to
without
just be like, yeah, I
asking.
want you to be my husband. Yeah, but I feel like that's
So there's still the
reflective of the
mutualness a little
time
bit, but I guess also the time period, marriage and love are
we're
we don't think about them
intertwined.
the same way anymore. It's like they should be one and the same. They're not necessarily one and the
Oh,
same
yeah.
in the 18th century. Um, but that was a really big difference. So morality, I think Disney hit it better.
Yeah, how do you think
Sorry.
overall the Disney adaptation compared to the original source material?
I mean, it definitely bettered it. I think we've said that for almost every fairy tale because they're so short. And so turning
Yeah,
something that takes 15 minutes to read into an hour and a half, you're definitely gonna have a lot more there. But I did think, especially if we're thinking about like fairy tales and morals, they did a lot better with the morals in this one than
I would
maybe
agree.
some other fairy tales that were a little bit better aligning.
Yeah, and I mean just the beautiful award winning score. Obviously you can't put like music to books, but just so much of the I get why it's the first animated film to be nominated for
Yeah,
Best Picture. It is truly
it's stunning.
artistic. Yeah, the stained glass, the imagery throughout, the rich backgrounds, like it really brings it to life, but it expands it in a way that's unique and enjoyable.
I do want to hit some things that are similar between both the story and um the film. So some of the big plot points, if we were to take them like very nuts and bolts, where she trades places with her father, he gets lost on his way home from traveling. That's the same. The magic mirror is in there, and that's the same. There's no curse tied to the rose, but a rose is the catalyst of all of the conflict. That's what gets her father in trouble, but in the film, that's what's tracking time. So the rose is still a very central symbol of time, love, endurance, etc. And then she comes back. I think that's a key piece in both of the plots is that she gets to go home and yet she comes back. And that's the turning point of the spell can definitely be broken is because she has the opportunity to completely have her freedom again, but instead returns to the beast because of the relationship they developed in their time
Yeah,
together.
I feel
So
that's
I
very important.
so I think both hit like Disney adaptation hit those big plot points
You see the bones are
perfectly.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, like the story is the same. They just, I think, did a better job at hitting the morals of it and gave us some catchy musical numbers in between.
So, fun question. If we were each enchanted objects in the castle, what would we be?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard. Because, like, I don't want to be a book because then I'm just going to sit on a shelf all day.
No, yeah. I already know what I'm gonna be.
What would you be?
I'm gonna be a teacup with eyelashes. I'm gonna find out what's going
You're
on.
going to infiltrate the
I'm gonna
teacups.
infiltrate the
Undercover reporter
cupboard.
teacup.
I have
Um,
infiltrated the cupboard because are you okay? Like blink twice if you're not. What is going on here?
yeah, I think I definitely would want to be something small and portable because that you can move around. Like the armoire is not going very far. The stove is not leaving the kitchen.
The portrait is stuck on stage for
I know
most
I
of
was
the
a
film.
portrait, so my inanimate object, I was a portrait. My good friend Alexis, she was a coat. She was the coat rack, the
Oh.
like
Did you have to
the
like hold her
boxing coat
arms the
rack.
whole time?
Um, yeah, she had a coat that had like a rod in it, but
Okay.
then for the fight scene, she had her arms out and was, the
Duking
coat
it
rack.
out.
So I don't know what I'd want to be. I'm looking around my room, like what would I want to be? Oh,
You could be a pen because you
oh, a
like
pen
to
could be
write.
good.
I feel like if there's a feather
I'd
duster,
be
that
able to
can be a
communicate.
pen.
I could just write whatever I'm thinking all over stuff or paintbrush. Be our ink and paint.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think teacup though is a good way to go. You'll be around, you'll do stuff. I wouldn't mind. Cogsworth wouldn't be so bad. Like Cogsworth, a clock,
Little clock.
having legs that I can move around.
True.
I did like so in the live action that the feather dusters can fly. That's legit. That
That's
could be
fun.
cool. If I get to be the feather duster from the live action that I can fly, use my feathers to fly, I think I wouldn't be that. Yeah,
Good
okay. I think
choice.
I'm going with that. So I want to touch on something that people often bring up. We see this on the internet all the time where people diagnose the Disney diagnosis of different princesses, or there's this theory that all of the princesses are some sort of psychological disorder. Um,
They say that about
so
Winnie the Pooh though, too. Like the
yeah.
internet just needs to stop. But go ahead. Where does the internet go with this one?
So what do you think about Belle being suffering from Stockholm syndrome? That she falls in
Ab
love with her captor.
I disagree. No, I did not take AP psychology. Don't you teach it
I did
sometimes?
1 year. I did
Okay, you
teach
did.
AP
That's I
psychology.
remember that. So I might turn to your expertise, but my understanding of Stockholm syndrome is like, oh, like when you've been captured someone, you fall in love with them by proximity because you don't know anything else. And here's my thing. She wasn't captured. Like, yes, she was imprisoned, but he gave her the opportunity to leave. I feel like that's where the argument falls apart. Like, he's like, okay,
hmm
fine, go. And she does leave. It's just then that she encounters a pack of wolves and he has to step in and save her. And I think that's when she starts to see him in a new light. But that's not Stockholm syndrome. That's somebody coming to your rescue and then being like, oh, maybe he does care. It's not this idea of like, well, there's nobody else for me to care about here in this castle because she's also not alone. She's got friends. She's got Lavier. She's got Cogsworth. I don't know. I don't know if like being alone factors in the Stockholm syndrome. Please give me your AP Psych teacher
You
view on
defined it
this.
correctly.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's developing positive emotions or feelings with your captors or abusers as a coping mechanism. But I think I'm in the same boat, and also because I do think we have to remember these are fairy tales, and also they are an hour and a half long. So, like a Broadway production, when we're like, wow, that moved really quickly. You only met 30 minutes ago on stage. Like, this is condensed storytelling. So, I don't think we can positively say that out of nowhere she just like falls in love with a guy she just met. We see seasons change. Like, she's there for a period of time, which maybe I guess you could argue, well, that's her being captured. But I think you could also argue the period of time means she actually gets to know them as a person. We see that they read together. If you include the direct-to-video sequels and we figure out where they go in the canon and in the timeline, then like she really gets to know them. They spend Christmas together. Um, I think I'm with you. I think in some cases we just read way too much
Into
into
things.
into it. But I'm all for, if people want to have fun with it and go
Look,
off
if
on
you want to
tangents.
write an academic paper, be my guest.
Hey, I know someone who did that. But yeah, I'm not in the Stockholm Syndrome camp that Belle suffers from that Disney diagnosis. I'm with you. She's got friends. It wasn't a capture situation.
Mm,
She was willing to take place. I think she has a decent amount of freedom in that castle. Um,
that makes sense.
I think I'm with you.
All right, I realized we did not do this on the last episode for Pinocchio, but maybe it was for the best. But I do feel like we should touch on the live action remake of the film.
I
I
thoroughly enjoyed it.
overall, it's like a solid B plus A minus for me.
Yeah, I would
My
agree with that.
it's terrible. I'm gonna feel so mean. My one detractor is Emma Watson. Like
Oh, see, I liked her.
it would be an A plus film for me if somebody else had been in that role. And I have a person in mind. And it's
Okay.
Emmy Rossum, who was in The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
Like
she would have been great.
she looks like Belle.
The singing would have been
I know
stronger.
that she can sing. Yep, you said it, not me. I feel like my thing is just I get Emma Watson's popularity. I think Emma Watson is an okay actress overall. Um, I feel like Belle and Hermione are so similar.
Hmm.
And maybe that's why they did it, because there was definitely like, on Tumblr, like people would make those comparisons, but I don't think she gave a lot of depth to her performance. I think everybody else in that film is perfectly cast, but not her. And I wish it had been Emmy Rossum instead. But that doesn't like, it's not like, oh, I hate this movie. I really did enjoy it when I saw it in theaters. Another shout out to my dad who flew down to Florida because he did not live here yet for the week that that movie came out so that we could see it
Aw.
together in the cinema. So I remember like really walking away liking it. I just think as I've sat with it, I'm like, we could have had someone else and I would have liked it a little more, but that's not to say I don't revisit it. I do put that one on for bedtime sometimes. I think it is one of the stronger live action adaptations. I think the musical numbers are great. I love what
The new
everybody
music is
else
awesome. I
is
really
doing in
liked the
there.
new
Oh
music that
yeah.
was added as well. Um, yeah, the depth, the background story, how they tie up some of those loose ends. Like, how does a whole town forget that there's a prince just in walking distance?
Honestly,
Um,
great point. Because they cut out the whole like 10 years we've been rusting, where you're like, wait a minute, how old was he? Like, what's going on? How is Chip like 6 years old if this has been going on for there are a lot of plot holes in Beauty and the Beast as much as I love it.
so
I
many.
so many.
Or
There was a
also like,
BuzzFeed
why is
article.
I love when she thinks every object, like she says hello to the hairbrush, and they're
Yes.
like, not
No,
all of
no, no,
us
it's not
are, and
all.
you're like, oh, okay, good. So like,
Not all
you're not
objects.
abusing every object that you use in your day-to-day life.
No, it was very thoughtfully constructed. I feel like they took stuff, like you said, they addressed questions we had. Um, so one of the stronger live actions. I think
Yeah.
my favorite is actually the Lily James Cinderella,
Hmm.
because it does a little more new with the story.
Yeah.
But on the spectrum, I I overall like it. Like I said, B plus, A minus could have been an A plus though if you put Emmy Rossum instead of Emma Watson. They sound
I
similar.
enjoyed Emma Watson. I'm a big Emma Watson fan, so
I
it
get
didn't really
that.
detract it much for me. Uh, I'm a big Hermione fan, so I find it very believable that
Yes.
who she is as as someone who is a very practical person, like Belle's character being very practical, enjoying reading and the intellectualness. I think maybe it is typecasting for Emma Watson.
Question though on the live action, how do you feel that that compares to the original story? Like, were there some elements that you saw from the original story in the live action that weren't necessarily in the animated film? Doesn't she ask her dad for a rose?
Yes, she does ask her dad for a rose. He does a little bit more traveling, and I think there's stronger connections that Belle had a life before coming to this town. Now
Hmm.
that looks a little different in the story in the sense that like they were merchants, but they were wealthy. They had a better affluent life. And we can probably tell that from her time living in Paris. Now I know in the film they lived in a windmill, so maybe not super affluent, but they lived in a more posh, quote, civilized, as she like makes fun of it area. So like the idea that she has a transition from a prior life to this new life. I think is a stronger connection from the original source material to the live action film.
I like that take.
But I think maybe there's some stronger pieces to it from maybe the original, if we read like the full length novel version. Because I think there was some stuff in there, like the magic book. I think there might be a connection in there. Or like she travels through a ring, but they travel through a book. So there's a couple more magical objects.
Portals
Yeah,
and
portals
things
are a
like that.
thing. Um, but I think it overall mostly aligns with the Disney animated feature and maybe pulls a little bit more from the Broadway production
I can see that
than the original
aesthetically.
source material. But that's the only thing I can think of is her having a life before, quote, the provincial town that she ends up living in.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, so I like that you brought that up.
Um, but there's many other Beauty and the Beast films, and one of your favorites is Beauty and the Beast: The Enchanted Christmas, a direct-to-video 1997 sequel. What do you love so much about this film?
Look, it makes no sense if you really try to break it down as like a midquel because it takes place kind of in between her arrival at the castle and like before they really fall
It's
in
like if you were to
love.
pause at something there, it like happens there because there's snow. So I'm
Yeah,
like, that's got to be
it's
winter.
Christmas. That'll be fun to watch. Like start watching Beauty and the Beast, pause, switch over, watch all of Enchanted Christmas, and then come back and finish Beauty and the Beast. I just really like it as a seasonal thing. I think Tim Curry is so good in that
Yeah,
as
that's what I
Fortuna.
remember most about it.
I feel like I saw, I'm just gonna keep bringing up memes, I guess. There was like a meme on the internet that was like what you first saw Tim Curry in says a lot about you, but it was more focused on like Rocky Horror Picture Show, Clue, or It. And I'm like, okay, but what does it say about me if it's Forte from Beauty and the Beast and
Forte.
Enchanted Christmas? Oh, so good. Look, I respect to that. All the original voice cast came back except Chip,
Yeah.
obviously, because the little boy, like his voice had changed. But the fact that like Angela Lansbury and Jerry Orbach and these big stars came back is great. And I had a Barbie doll of Belle in her
hmm
Christmas dress, and she's my favorite Barbie doll.
The
So
Christmas dress is
it's
really everything. And
gorgeous.
I love that she wears that in the parks. Like she's the every other
So
princess or
beautiful.
every other character, their winter gear
Winter
is like
wear.
add a shawl, add long gloves,
Yes.
something like that. But she gets a whole new
It's
outfit.
stunning.
The
It's like a
velvet.
Christmas present as a dress. And so yeah, no, it does it hold up plot wise? Absolutely not.
It's
But
very
we
odd.
get Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, and Tim Curry, and I think some decent song additions. Oh, sorry, I forgot the the legend Bernadette Peters as Angelique. I want an Angelique for my tree, and I check every year on Etsy to see if someone out there in the universe is making one or like DisneyStore.com. Like I would love to put an actual Angelique as the angel on top of my tree.
Oh my
So
gosh, that'd be so good.
if
What if
you're good
that's
at
the
stuff like
inanimate
that,
object we could be? A Christmas tree topper? It would suck to go into storage for like
yeah, they're stuck up
so
there.
long
So
in
many
the year.
questions.
But yeah, where is
Don't
the storage in the castle?
don't start
Do
thinking
they have
about
a
the
warehouse?
ornaments. The ornaments all talk, but they don't have eyeballs. So unlike the cups in the cupboard, there
Uh,
are no eyelashes. It's like the Cars universe. If you think about it too long, it just immediately falls apart. But it is an annual Christmas time
yeah.
watch in my household. Now, were you familiar with the other direct to VHS
So
sequel, Belle's Magical World? That was 1998.
I think I watched it once. I don't think I owned it. I could be
I
wrong.
was not allowed to own it because I think my mom found out that the original people didn't return. So she's like, no, this is
We don't support
trash.
this.
We don't see. She's like, no Angela Lansbury, no Belle's Magical World. But I remember seeing previews for it like on a
Yeah.
different VHS, so I knew it existed.
And I know the green
Honestly,
dress that she wears on the cover. Like she's in a green dress, I think, for that one,
she was
holding
a
a
green
book.
dress in the movie.
I guess, but like I remember that one on a cover. I guess
The
maybe it's
the
that one. I don't
I don't
remember.
the
Now I'm getting
cover.
my memories crossed
There's
here.
a talking book that I think is
Yes.
voiced by Jim Cummings. Paige O'Hara, like a decent amount of people came back, but Angela Lansbury did not. And I guess my mom was just like, no.
And it's one of those where I guess they made a bunch of, and we see Disney still do this all the time, where they're like, we're going to make a television series, but then they
Yes.
turned it into a movie.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
three,
Cinderella 2 is very similar to this, where it's like just
yep,
this episodic,
3 20-minute episodes loosely strung
loosely brought
together.
together.
I will tell you, it is one of the early things that I watched on Disney Plus in 2019. Like I started adding stuff to my queue and I was like, oh, sweet, my mom never bought this. Now I get to watch it. It's not
I don't
good.
remember it very
It's not
well.
good. I will be the first to say it. The plot is so convoluted. The animation's really poor. Again, I'm just gonna keep mentioning Beauty and the Beast memes. If you've seen the meme of Belle looking like really derp and cross-eyed and like poor animation, that is from this. Like the step
Uh,
down and I feel like the animation quality in Beauty and the Beast and Enchanted Christmas is decent. Yes, it's weird that Forte is fully CGI and nothing else in that movie is. And so
yeah.
when you see them together, it doesn't always work, but like it is a step down in this. And so I watched it. I don't think I ever need to watch it again, but I would watch it with you for you. There is a really crazy plot where the feather duster, who I have heard multiple names associated with, so I am just going to call her the feather duster, thinks that Lumiere is cheating on her with Belle when
Oh my
he's
gosh.
actually like planning a surprise for the feather duster with Belle's help. And I was like, this is
Now, this could
absolutely
also be a weird one of
bonkers.
how, where would you watch this in reference of the
Oh
film's
gosh, I get the
timeline?
triple feature here.
Or quadruple, because we also have Beauty and the Beast Tales of Friendship,
I
which
don't know
I
what that
have
is.
never heard of.
Is this
Apparently,
Belle's
there's a
Magical
live action
World?
component to it. Like,
Okay,
think,
well then, because there was a TV show on Disney Channel.
and Paige
Like
O'Hara and Robbie Benson is back, as
there
well
was
as
a
Jerry Orbach.
show
They're all back.
called Sing Me a Story with Belle. So I'm like, did they just take pieces of that? Like, is this Belle's Magical
I don't
World
know.
under a different
But yeah,
title? Well, that's not on Disney Plus.
there's a live action portion as well as an animated portion, and most of the um original cast came back for the animated portion.
But
Um,
not Angela Lansbury.
no,
No.
Anne Rogers was Mrs. Potts
That's
in
who's
that.
that's who's Mrs. Potts,
But
the other
Belle,
one.
Beast, Cogsworth, Lumiere, they're all original cast. Jim Cummings is back.
Okay, it does say here it was released to help promote the syndicated television series Sing Me a Story with Belle. So that is the
Oh,
live action Belle that I can like vaguely picture from
I
Disney
don't remember the
Channel.
live action Belle from
It
Disney
might have
Channel.
been before like your Disney Channel
Yeah,
time.
maybe from before I got the channel because it's a paid
Yeah.
channel. Maybe. But yeah, once you get past Belle's, I'm aware of Belle's Magical World. I think I watched it one time. I don't think I owned it. It might have been on TV at some point. But once I get past that, yeah, I don't know the rest of these. Enchanted Christmas is kind of where my Beauty and the Beast lore ends.
Honestly, it's fine to just stop right there. You're good.
And
Don't
I
go
don't think they
further.
need a sequel. Like, I really hope as we're going down this trail of like sequels and whatnot, like Beauty and the Beast, I don't think needs one. It got its live action,
Yep.
which I think they did well with, and it should stop there.
I'd let them do a live action Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas.
Okay, we
I
could do
wanna,
that.
I'll allow that. Emma,
We could
it's
do that.
fine. You committed to Emma Watson. She can come back. It's okay.
So let's talk about it in the parks. She gets a lot of love, particularly in Walt Disney World.
Yes.
So this is good for Beauty and the Beast fans like ourselves, where we have a lot of access. New Fantasyland is really what brought Beauty and the Beast to Walt Disney World with the Be Our Guest restaurant, where you also get to meet Beast if you do dinner service. Enchanted Tales with Belle, which we've done together multiple
We
times.
did.
The mirror illusion is amazing.
Blew my
Um,
mind the first time
Gaston's
I saw it.
Tavern is super fun. I've gone in there just to take pictures sitting in his chair with so many people. But it's a great time. Did you ever try LeFou's brew?
I did.
I'm not a fan.
One time I was at an event and it was free. And so I was
Worth
like,
trying, yeah.
I'm gonna try it. I feel like it was Disney's response to butterbeer at the
Yeah, and I'm
Universal
not a fan
parks.
of
It's
butterbeer
now
either.
no, see, I do like the
I
butterbeer.
don't. It's too sweet. I can drink like 2 sips of it and then I'm over it.
I didn't like the foam on the LeFou brew was tangy. It was like an apple flavored foam, and it was more of a slushy
Mm.
consistency where I don't know, the frozen butterbeer is more smooth to me and I like the marshmallow topping. So I think, if you're curious, try it, especially have something like the Disney
It
dining
comes in a fun
plan.
cup.
You do get a fun cup. If you have like a snack credit or something, it's worth trying to form your opinion on it. But yeah, I was like, that's a one and done for me.
I
And
also,
Maurice has a popping cart.
yeah,
Little
I like the
popcorn cart.
popcorn cart a lot. I like how they made it zany enough. Like there's a lot of gears and it makes it look like it's way more complicated than it needs to be a popcorn cart.
Yes.
So I did like that addition as well. And there's a store there that has a lot of merch that is all Beauty and the Beast themed, which is
It
great.
used to be. It is now very much just like the art of Disney has
Oh,
taken
okay.
over. So like you're gonna find the Thomas Kincaid's various
Okay.
statues.
I haven't been
But
back
you're
there in a
no, I
while.
know you're right though. Like that originally it was just a dedicated Beauty and the Beast store, which was amazing, but not great for my wallet because it definitely bought a lot of
That's where I got my
stuff
chip, my first
there.
chip cup.
Yep, that's where I got mine as well.
I think it was during my Disney College program when Lumiere and Cogsworth came out, like the full-size
Oh, I have
Lumiere
those two,
and
girl.
Cogsworth. I think that's the year they came out, or that was the first time I became aware of them, and
No, I
I
think
saw
you're
so
right.
many people get them.
Yeah, I got them. And then they eventually did like a full size Mrs. Potts, like not a functioning teapot, but like a decorative Mrs. Potts. Also probably at that shop. But yeah, I love that area. I know that would have blown my mind as a child. I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
It opened in 2012, and I did not see it
You took me
until
to
I
be your guest for the first time.
did I did we
And that
do
was during my
lunch?
Disney College program. Remember, I
I
came down like a week before I moved
Yeah.
in, and
Did
you
we
took
go to
me.
lunch? Because I just want to say I
Yeah,
miss the lunch there. Because now it's
lunch was
not
great.
lunch was quick service. They had a turkey sandwich on a baguette that was so good and a gray stuff cupcake. But now lunch and dinner are the same. They're prefix, but I think the beast still might only appear at dinner. It's fun. I liked
It
the
is
lunch
fun. The
option.
atmosphere is great.
Yeah, it fully immerses you. Oh, if you go at Christmas time there is an Angelique on the trees. That's why I'm like, I know they can make an
So it's been
Angelique.
made.
It's
It's
been
been made.
made. It's been made. Somebody else just needs to make one and sell it to me. But I think that is a very nice touch, a little nod for Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas. They are also the lead float, Belle and the Beast on Festival of Fantasy parade nearly daily at the Magic Kingdom. I believe it's kind of like a connected float where Anna and Elsa are there and Naveen and
Yeah.
Tiana, but kicking off that parade are Belle and the Beast. And often Belle appears in the various holiday parades. I know in Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, in that parade, she's in her Christmas dress, and I
Yeah.
definitely cried when I saw her in her Christmas dress in my college program. I was like, she's so beautiful.
And I think for Festival of Fantasy during the holiday season,
Oh, does
she'll
she?
also be in her Christmas dress.
I could see that.
I
Yeah,
think.
I've
I think she just
not
stays in the Christmas dress. And because then I
made
met
an
her,
effort.
yeah, Mickey and Minnie's or sorry, Very Merry Christmas Party. She also does a meet and greet where you can meet her in her Christmas dress, which made
And
me so
at
happy.
Epcot when she's visiting there. So she's year round at Epcot, but I have absolutely
Epcot's where you can find her in the blue
rope drop.
dress,
Yes, but
which
at
I think is
Christmas
fun.
time
Oh, she'll also be in her
she's
Christmas
in her
dress.
Christmas dress. Yes, I rope dropped it one day. I was like, I'm going to Epcot, just going to France at 11
I
a.m.
think she's one of the few characters though that has multiple outfits. Like I was thinking about this when I was rewatching the
Oh,
film.
that's a good
Like
point. Not only in her film, but
like
in the parks as
yeah,
well.
in the park so we get Belle in the blue dress and then other locations you get her in her yellow dress and then at Christmas she has a Christmas dress. So she has 3 outfits.
Yeah, I feel like Cinderella gets multiple outfits in her movie, but you only ever see her in the silvery blue dress in the
Oh,
parks. Like,
true.
no,
And
but I
yeah, so
don't
she
think like
gets
I'm saying
three.
like but you don't see her meet in the
The pink
other
dress.
outfits. Yeah, the pink dress or the like made like everybody else is just in their pretty dress. So sometimes we get to see Ariel as a mermaid, sometimes we get to see Ariel in her human form, depending on her mood, I guess. Yeah, lots of opportunities to
So she
meet.
gets a lot of outfits.
Uh, another float in Phantasmic, part of
Hmm.
the the little princess interlude there. One of my favorite parts for sure.
Have you done
Gotta,
the sing-along in the France
yeah,
Pavilion?
have you not?
I haven't.
You should park hop when you go to studios later.
I've actually never done the sing-along.
Okay, girl. I wish you had because there's a lot to unpack there. Can I spoil a little bit for
Sure.
you? One, Angela Lansbury narrates it, so God bless her. She came back. She was like, Belle's Magical World, no. Come back for Epcot, absolutely. May she rest in peace. Angela Lansbury narrates it, like tells the dads to sing along, like calls the dads out. But it's a little bit like, what if LeFou had really had everything to do with getting Belle and the Beast together, which I don't necessarily
Big O
agree
twisted
with.
tail on this.
Yeah, it goes a little twisted tail. And I think the first time I saw it, I was like, how I feel about this. But if you're just like, okay, this isn't real, this is Epcot, and I'm just gonna take it for like its own thing. It is very cute. Like there are some funny, newly animated LeFou moments. I think just as a fan of the film, it was fun for me to see hand-drawn animation
Yeah.
again, immersing ourselves in that world in a new way from a plot standpoint. And like, I don't know about that. It's cute. Next time you're at Epcot, I would prioritize it. It does alternate, well, not alternate, but like during the day it's Beauty and the Beast sing along, but at night it's Impressions de France, which is nice that they still show that. But yeah, it's interesting.
Is the plot worse than Beauty and the Beast live on stage at Disney Hollywood Studios?
What do you mean?
Like the
That
plot in Hollywood Studios, if you do not know Beauty and the Beast, we're
it
just like
hits the
the
right
father
beats.
comes. It jumps around so much.
They got 29 minutes. Like they gotta cram it in. What do you want from it? It's
I just
not a
think it's
Broadway
funny that
show.
there's some issues where like the plot, you're like, what? How did we get here? Okay, we're just in a
See,
castle. We're back at it.
my
The
all
tavern all
right.
happens before she goes to the castle. The father has no role
If
whatsoever.
if time allows,
You don't know
when
how she ends
I
up at the castle trapped with the beast when there's no dad.
if time allows, when we meet up at studios soon, I would like to see it with you because it has
Oh,
been
I
a
love watching
while
it. I
since I've
absolutely
seen it.
adore that show. And it's the
I think
same since 1991.
the pink dresses, oh, I love them.
They're
They're like
so good and they're
they're
so bad.
the little pointy hats. I think my nostalgia goggles are just on too hard because
Oh, I
as a
love it. I
as a
absolutely
child
love it.
obsessed with Beauty and the Beast, I was like, yes, I'm not tall
This is
enough to do
amazing.
anything at Hollywood Studios except the Great Movie Ride, Moment Vision 3D, and this Beauty and the Beast show, and I love it.
Oh, I absolutely love the show. I see it every time. I sit through the ending to listen to Celine Dion sing her R&B hit.
With Peebo
Um,
Bryson, I will not have
yes,
Peebo Bryson erasure on this podcast.
with People Bryson, I have to sit through it the whole time. I have to see it every time I go. I absolutely adore it, but I do think it's funny. It's almost was I get into this conversation with my partner Caleb, like watching Harry Potter, I fill in all the gaps and I'm like, this is great. And someone who's never read the book, he's like, he finds all the plot holes.
Mm.
So like if you go into that, I forget who I was with that I watched it and they started pulling out of the plot holes and I was like, goggles were taken off. I was like, oh, there's a lot of plot holes
Yeah,
here.
I
Like
don't know
even
if I
more
want
so than the
to
film.
take my goggles off.
But
I
it's
don't
so well
know.
done, and it's one of the few shows that
It's been
has
around
complete live
forever.
performance on everything. Yeah, I can't believe it's still from 1991 because it was put out to help promote the film,
Yeah, I
and then
think for
it's
a
still
little
there.
bit, for like a hot second, if you look into the history, like we had a Pocahontas show at,
Yes, I
and then
remember
they're like,
Pocahontas.
it's fine, bring back Beauty and the Beast. Like there was a summer where they had like a Pixar orchestra thing, and that was cool. And then at Jollywood Nights, there's this fun, it's just everything I love. It is a premise of a TV variety show hosted by Kermit and Miss Piggy, but Tiana, Mickey Mouse, Minnie, and Belle show up at various points. And Belle, in her Christmas dress,
Perfect.
sings the song from Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Christmas, and I
Oh,
shed a little
as long as
tear.
there's Christmas.
Yes, that one.
So good.
So good. And then also we randomly have the Enchanted Rose Lounge at the Grand Floridian Resort, which is a choice I'm very confused by because the Grand Floridian is supposed to be like Victorian era
Yeah.
seaside Florida. They're like, it's fine. It's 17th or 18th century France. It's very nice. It's beautiful, but I don't know. You'd think as somebody who loves Beauty and the Beast, it would be my favorite far on property, but that's Trader
It's
Sam's.
almost Beauty and the Beast adjacent, and it
It's
leans
very much
into,
the live action.
yeah, like it has the Cogsworth and a Lumiere. It's not very Beauty and the Beast forward. There's just accents in different
Yeah,
places, and the menu is themed. Um,
ish a little
but
bit.
yeah.
So that's Walt Disney World. Over at Disneyland, they have the Red Rose Tavern. So I believe this was formerly Pinocchio's village house. It was weird because when I looked it up, the description said Fantasyland counter service featuring American Eats, a cobblestone patio, and Pinocchio murals. And I'm pretty sure they replaced all the Pinocchio murals with Beauty and the Beast
Mm.
murals. I believe that was supposed to be a temporary overlay in tandem with the live action film, and then they were just like, it's fine, we'll keep it. People like Beauty and the Beast, which hey, no complaints here. I think it has like burgers and stuff. The murals are cute. There's also, I don't know, did you get a chance to see this, the storytelling at Royal Theater? I know your Disneyland
I
trip was a little more
didn't.
limited. You would have liked it.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing anything at the time that I went to Disneyland in 2021. There was still a lot of COVID. They weren't
Hmm.
distancing, but a lot of the like sit in a big theater with lots of people was not happening.
Got it. Yeah, it's a cute little outdoor one, but I could still see it being kind of limited. It's it's very Tom Stoppard play, like the 15-minute Hamlet. They do alternating
Okay.
shows of Beauty and the Beast and Tangled, where it's like these two minstrel magic makers like reenact Beauty and the Beast
Okay.
and pull in some audience members. I've only seen it once, but I made sure to see the Beauty and the Beast one, and I thought it was really cute.
One that you and I are dying to go to in the international
Bucket
parks, Tokyo
list.
Disneyland has Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, the trackless dark ride, the full-scale castle that whisk through through key moments of the iconic story as they dance in a chip teacup. We're in the teacup. We're in the brothers and sisters.
We've infiltrated them.
In the teacups through Beast Castle. And if you've ever watched, listeners, the video, some really nice people who decided to film it for those of us who are going to have to wait a while to get there to watch it. There are some amazing illusions
It's
and
so
magic that
good.
Imagineers did.
I want to ride
And
it so bad.
once we got that castle in Tokyo, when you go to be our guest and you're like, it's forced perspective. I'm like, oh, but we could have the full scale.
We could go in the castle. Yeah, that is definitely on my bucket list. I also wanted to give a shout out to Disney Cruise Line. Aboard the Disney Magic, there is a restaurant called Lumiere's. It has some beautiful murals and accents celebrating Beauty and the Beast. Its counterpart on the Wonder is Triton's, of course, celebrating Little Mermaid. And then on the Dream and the Fantasy, one of them's called Royal Palace, the other's called Royal Court. It's celebrating pretty much all princesses, but again, beautiful mosaics. Reminds me a lot of like when you walk under the castle at Walt
Mhm.
Disney World, and a great one of just the iconic moment of Belle and Beast dancing. But also, the best show on the Disney Cruise Line fleet is the Beauty and the Beast stage show. It leans more heavily in its influence from the 2017 live action,
Okay.
interestingly. That is aboard the Disney Dream and now Disney's latest ship, the Disney Treasure. It's showing on both ships, and it's just so pretty. I love it. They do some really cool projection mapping effects like with the set pieces and illusions as well, and just a very high energy show. I want to say it's probably like a 75-minute show, so no complaints there compared to your plot
Zero plot
hole
holes,
ridden Beauty and the Beast live on stage at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
but it's
So
still perfection.
still good. So yeah, really just great representation overall across many of the parks.
And I think this shows that even though the story we read is so short, it is a very enduring tale, and it's one that a lot of people resonate with. I think, like we said, those morals of longing, wanting something different, identity, all of that just gives you a lot to work with. And Disney's done a lot to make that work for them. And I'm very glad because it's one of our favorites.
Yeah, it was a 14-page story. We didn't have a lot to go off of, but we got to talk about our favorite Disney movie for more than an hour. So thank you for bearing along with us for that. We hope it inspires you to seek out the original source material and maybe revisit some of your favorite moments either in the parks or on Disney Plus. We do also like to leave you with additional resources. So I am going to throw it way back to our first season of the podcast where we reviewed Beauty and the Beast, Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. That was all the way back on episode number 4.
Yeah.
So if you are newer to the show and just haven't been reading along with us, all of our content is meant to be rather evergreen. So that might be a good one to go back, read, listen along to. This was a tie-in to the 2017 film, kind
Live
of like
action.
a jumping off point from those portals that we discussed and Belle getting pulled into a magical book world. So I think we talked about our affinity for Belle back then. Maybe we made some
Yeah.
other similar
But
points. I don't know.
it's been 8 years.
Yeah, it's time.
So it was time to bring it back. I have a few. As always, I'm going to recommend Disorder. Their episode number 30 is about the film. So if you like animation history and dissecting the film scene by scene, I highly suggest Disorder's episode 30. A new book that I want to add to my shelf. We've read some Disney Twisted Tales before. I would love to keep exploring that series, and there is a Twisted Tale called Tale as Old as Time that asks the question, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? Which that might pull actually more on the original fairy tale where Belle is part of a royal family and there's fairies involved and she was separated from her family. Um, so maybe even that pulls more from
Maybe
the
we'll
original source
do
material.
a Twisted Tale summer or something
Every now and then
sometime.
we just got to keep having more Beauty and the Beast. Um,
Every 8 years.
I also, in my research, found when I was looking through the history of Beauty and the Beast, Classic Tales of Animal Brides and Grooms by fairy tale scholar Marie Tater. She was quoted a lot in a lot of the articles that I was reading with the new live action that came out in 2017. She was referenced a lot for her knowledge of the original fairy tale. And so she wrote this book of including the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale published alongside those other fairy tales that I talked about at the top of the episode, featuring love between humans and animal creatures, and those themes of not, seeing beyond appearances. So if you're interested in that more global view of Beauty and the Beast and how this story has transcended multiple cultures, I would maybe pick that up, and that could be a good volume to add to your fairy tale shelf.
Great recommendations. Thank you. And this is normally where I would tell you what we're reading next. But we're just going to ask you to bear with us for a moment because we're still working on scheduling, possibly for an upcoming author interview. We hope that it comes through. If not, we will be selecting something else. So the best way to keep up with that and our selections would be over on Instagram at Book of the Mouse. You'd, of course, email us with comments or ideas to bookofthemouseclub@gmail.com. Please be sure to leave us a review wherever you listen so others can find our podcast and read and listen along with us. You can keep up with me, Courtney, on Instagram at Great Gutsby.
And you can follow me, Emily, on Instagram at Emily_McD.
Wonderful. Well, Emily, it is your turn for the closing quote. What do you have for us?
So I chose to go with our narrator from the Disney animated film who says, quote, "Do not be deceived by appearances, for beauty is found within," end quote. And I thought was a good way to bring our morals together between the film and the original source material.
An excellent pick. So thank you. Stay tuned, listeners, and we'll see you in April.
Book of the Mouse Club has no affiliation with the Walt Disney Company. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and participants are theirs and theirs alone. They do not represent the organizations or companies they happen to work for.